When the Galactic Academic Council approved Dr. Zaira Telvana's research proposal on human biological extremes, they expected minor cultural misunderstandings. They did not expect 3 broken diagnostic pods, a cafeteria incident that required evacuation of 2 decks, and a formal complaint from station security regarding excessive human enthusiasm. But that came later. At the beginning, it was simple curiosity. Dr. Zaira Telvani was considered one of the brightest xenobiologists in the outer spiral. A slender Ketheri with opalescent lavender skin and a cranial crest that shimmered when she was excited, which was often. She had built her career studying species with unusual physiological adaptations. She had documented silicon-based lung filters on Korth Prime. She had survived a mating season on Thalrex 4. She had even written a controversial paper titled Predatory Species and Their Surprisingly Gentle Social Bonds. But humans were different. According to preliminary data, they were physically average by galactic standards. Moderate strength, moderate durability, no claws, no venom, no bioluminescent intimidation patterns. And yet, they survived on a death world. A literal death world. Atmospheric instability, tectonic violence, apex predators, microbial warfare. Statistically, humans should not exist, which meant they fascinated her. The first human ambassador to Deep Research Station Virex 9 arrived with little fanfare. His name was Lieutenant Marcus Hale, and he looked disappointingly normal. Medium height, dark hair, 2 arms, 2 legs, mildly asymmetrical facial structure that humans considered attractive. No visible armor plating. Zaira adjusted her data slate and circled him slowly. Fascinating, she murmured. Marcus shifted awkwardly. I'm just standing here. Yes, she replied seriously. That is part of the fascination. He blinked. She scanned him with a handheld biosensor. Heart rate elevated. Why? You're walking around me like I'm livestock. Observation is not demeaning, she said. It is scientific. Feels demeaning.
She paused.
Noted. Marcus crossed his arms. So, what exactly am I here for? Zaira's crest shimmered brightly. Your species is listed as possessing unusually rapid recovery cycles, adaptive immune responses, and hormonal resilience during exertion. Marcus squinted. That's a very clinical way of saying we're stubborn. Yes, she said. That too. She gestured toward the testing chamber. We will begin with endurance metrics. The first test was simple. A gravity treadmill calibrated to increasing planetary weights. Standard Ketheri baseline is 1.2 gravities, Zaira explained. We rarely exceed 1.5. Marcus stepped onto the platform. Earth's about 1.0. Your records indicate military training at variable gravitational loads.
Yeah.
Up to 2.0 for short bursts. Zaira's crest flickered with intrigue. Begin. The treadmill activated. 1.0 gravities. Marcus jogged casually. 1.3. Still steady. 1.6. His breathing deepened. 2.0. Sweat formed on his brow. Zaira monitored the data streams. Muscle fiber strain increasing. Cardiovascular output spiking. Terminate, she asked. Marcus grinned.
Nah.
2.3. 2.5. Now most species would have collapsed. Marcus slowed, but did not stop. At 2.7 gravities, Zaira's eyes widened. This exceeds safe skeletal thresholds for your mass. Feels like leg day, he panted. Leg day. Never mind. At 3.0 gravities, the treadmill's warning lights flashed. Marcus finally hit the stop control and staggered off, laughing breathlessly. Okay, that's enough. Zaira stared at the data. Bone density microfractures, already self-repairing. Lactic acid accumulation, processing rapidly. Heart rate returning to baseline in under 3 minutes. Incredible, she whispered. Marcus wiped his forehead. You guys really don't work out much, huh? We meditate.
Ah.
The second test was immune response. Zyra introduced a mild, non-lethal Cathary cold virus analog, harmless to humans according to cross-species modeling. Marcus sneezed.
Once.
Then twice. His eyes watered. Discomfort, she asked eagerly. Feels like allergies. She monitored his bloodstream via nanoscopic sensors. White blood cell mobilization spiked dramatically. Antibody production began within minutes. Your immune system is digressive, she said. Yeah, we're kind of famous for that. It's why alien pollen makes us miserable. Within 2 hours, the viral markers were almost undetectable. Cathary baseline recovery time, 12 cycles. Human recovery time, under 3. She stared at him in awe. You are biologically unreasonable. Marcus grinned. I get that a lot. But the real chaos began during what Zyra clinically labeled reproductive hormonal resilience assessment. The council had been particularly interested in this. Human reproductive cycles were strange. Continuous fertility potential. No clearly defined mating season. High endocrine variability. Cathary mating cycles occurred once every 7 years and required extensive recovery. Humans? They seemed ready at nearly any time. This deeply unsettled several council members. Zyra, however, was thrilled. She sat across from Marcus in a private laboratory chamber. Today's evaluation concerns endocrine regulation under social stimulus, she said formally. Marcus raised a brow. That sounds ominous. It is purely observational. She dimmed the light slightly and activated a series of holographic projections designed to trigger mild attraction responses based on his psychological profile. Marcus blinked at the display. That's oddly specific. We studied your media archives. Of course you did. His heart rate elevated. Hormonal indicators rose predictably. Zyra recorded everything meticulously. Your species exhibits rapid physiological readiness, she noted aloud. Marcus cleared his throat. You're saying that like it's weird. It is. She adjusted the parameters. Now we observe recovery time. She deactivated the stimuli and waited. Marcus inhaled slowly. Exhaled. His heart rate gradually declined. Hormone levels dropped toward baseline. Within 15 minutes, his biomarkers stabilized. Zyra frowned at her data. That cannot be correct. What? You have returned to baseline faster than predicted. Yeah. She recalibrated. There must be an error. There isn't. She studied him intensely. Again. He blinked. Again? For verification. Marcus shrugged. Sure. She reactivated the stimuli.
Predictable spike.
Predictable reaction. And, once again, within a short span, full stabilization. Zyra's crest flashed brilliant silver. Wait, she breathed. You can do it again already? Marcus stared at her. Do what again? She stared at the data. This is biologically irresponsible. He laughed. And that was the moment the cafeteria incident began. Word spread quickly across Virex 9. Human endocrine redundancy. Multiple activation cycles. Rapid recovery. Within hours, the station's recreational wing was packed with curious researchers. Marcus found himself cornered near the nutrient dispensers by 3 Zelfari anthropologists and a very flustered Cathary intern. Zyra tried to maintain order. Please, this is controlled research. The Zelfari chittered excitedly. Is it true your species can engage repeatedly within a single solar rotation? Marcus nearly choked on his drink. Okay, first of all, that's a weird way to phrase it. The intern fainted. Literally fainted. Security had to escort several overenthusiastic academics away after someone suggested comparative trials. Marcus found Zyra later in her lab, frantically recalculating projections. You started a rumor, he accused. I published preliminary findings, she corrected. You titled it Human Reproductive Persistence, a Statistical Anomaly. Yes. That's not helping. She looked genuinely puzzled. It is accurate. He sat across from her, rubbing his temples.
Zyra.
You can't just announce to the galaxy that humans have that. But it is fascinating. He sighed. You're going to get us banned from half the diplomatic exchanges.
She paused.
That would be inefficient. Yes. She tapped her slate thoughtfully. Then perhaps we should reframe the findings. Please do. She brightened. Human resilience. That's better. Adaptive redundancy. Still weird. She tilted her head. Your species is strange about biological honesty. Marcus laughed. You have no idea. The climax came during the Interstellar Physiology Symposium. Zyra had been invited to present her findings. Marcus had not expected to be included in the live demonstration. He discovered this when the stage lights came on. Wait, he whispered. Why am I up here? For verification, she said calmly. The auditorium was filled with representatives from 37 species. Zyra projected her data charts. Humans exhibit exceptional muscular endurance, immune aggression, and rapid endocrine cycling, she explained. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. A Threxian delegate raised a claw. Are these cycles finite? Within normal metabolic constraints, no. Zyra replied proudly. Marcus buried his face in his hands. Another delegate leaned forward. You're saying a single human male could theoretically outlast. Please stop finishing that sentence, Marcus muttered. Zyra continued. To demonstrate adaptive recovery, Lieutenant Hale will undergo repeated exertion testing. Marcus groaned. They repeated the gravity treadmill. He pushed hard. Recovered. They introduced mild immune challenges. Recovered. Then, the hormonal stimulus test. Again. The crowd leaned forward collectively. Marcus focused, endured the embarrassment, stabilized. Zyra stared at the live data feed. And once more, rapid baseline restoration. Gasps echoed. A Zelfari scholar fainted. Again. Zyra turned slowly toward the audience. Conclusion, she declared. Humans are biologically ridiculous. The hall erupted in overlapping chatter. Marcus stepped forward and raised his hands. Okay, let's clarify something. Silence gradually fell. We're not super beings, he said. We just evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day. So our bodies learn to adapt. Fast. He gestured toward Zyra. She's not wrong. We recover quickly. We're stubborn. We can push through things most species wouldn't. He paused. But that doesn't make us invincible. The room quieted. It makes us survivors. Zyra watched him carefully. Survival, she echoed. Yes, he said. And adaptability. That's the real trick. She looked back at her data, at the audience, then at him. I may have focused too narrowly, she admitted.
He smirked. Told you.
She straightened. Revised conclusion. Humans are not biologically anomalous due to excess. She paused dramatically. They are anomalous due to resilience. The audience murmured thoughtfully. That includes emotional resilience, Marcus added. You'd be amazed what we can recover from. Zyra studied him. Even embarrassment? Especially embarrassment. A ripple of laughter spread through the hall. Tension dissolved. The symposium shifted from shock to admiration, not because humans were unstoppable, but because they endured.
Twice.
3 times. As many times as necessary. Later that evening, Marcus and Zyra stood on the observation deck overlooking the stars. "You enjoyed that too much," he said. "I enjoyed the data," she corrected. "You nearly caused a diplomatic incident." "But I did not." He chuckled. "No, you didn't." She leaned against the railing, crest glowing softly. "Your species is strange."
Yeah.
"You injure yourselves intentionally for training." "Yep." "You consume toxins recreationally." "Coffee is not a toxin." "It is." He laughed. "And yet," she continued softly, "you choose cooperation over dominance when possible." "Most of us try." She studied him for a long moment. "Thank you for allowing the research." He shrugged. "Hey, if proving we can handle round 2 impresses the galaxy, I guess that's not the worst PR." She blinked. "Round 2. He grinned. "You said it first." Her crest flashed bright violet. "I was referring to endocrine cycling." "Sure you were." They both laughed. Below them, Virex 9 hummed with life. Research continued. Misunderstandings persisted. But something had shifted. The galaxy no longer viewed humans as merely loud newcomers from a dangerous world. They viewed them as adaptable, persistent, ridiculously resilient, and occasionally embarrassing. Zyra finalized her revised paper that night. She changed the title to Human Biological Resilience, a Study in Adaptive Survival. She deleted the phrase reproductive persistence entirely, probably for the best. As she powered down her lab, she glanced at Marcus, who was already planning tomorrow's workout session to really mess with the data. Her crest shimmered warmly. Humans. They could do it again already. Not just biologically, but socially, diplomatically, emotionally. Knocked down? They stood up. Exhausted? They tried again. Embarrassed on a galactic stage? They laughed and proved it twice. And that, Zyra concluded, was the most fascinating adaptation of all.